up, guys? It's me. Ooh, something in my eye.
Hear that old tin can kicking out a crazy beat.
Dust. What is up, guys? It's me, Troi, and I'm here again with another video. So I'm trying to make some videos related to March Mystery Madness, and this is a video I've always wanted to make. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys, I think, I didn't even do my count, 2, 4, 5, 6, 6 books in the mystery genre that has brought emotions to me toward the end of their reading, meaning that my eyes was glistening. Okay, that's what we're getting to. Honey, I ain't got no shame in admitting that I was about to cry after reading some of these books because hell, what do I got to prove to anybody, if you know what I'm saying? So with that said, I'm going to share them here. First book was Body of Evidence by Patricia Cornwell. This is the second book in her case Scarpetta series, and my absolute favorite one. Now this book is about an author, a woman named Beryl Madison, who is being stalked by one of her crazy, delusional, off the Richter scale fans, to the point where she leaves her home in Richmond and goes to Key West to find some kind of peace and solitude away from this crazy ass guy who is calling her, leaving her letters, and etc. and etc. Unfortunately, when she does return back home to Richmond, she inadvertently, mistakenly, invites the killer into her house, and then he subsequently murders her. And then Kay Scarpetta, chief medical examiner, she goes about solving the case of what happened to Beryl Madison. Now, I want to say the thing that made this book give me such an emotional reaction once I finished reading this years ago, it's so memorable in that sense, is that, okay, so at the beginning we get some of the letters of Beryl contemplating and thinking about going back home, but she's afraid to. And then, you know, she's murdered very early on within the book, and then of course her body ends up on Kay Scarpetta's slab, because, you know, she's a medical examiner. But the thing is that from that point forward, Kay had to literally, you know, sort of like go backwards through Beryl's life, through all of her own personal secrets, to, you know, find the path, find the connection, find exactly what brought Beryl into the eyes as the target of this particular stalker and killer. And I think the thing that really just kind of cut it out for me, the thing that just really just hit the switch, is sort of the menacing stalking that went into her fate, and then just kind of like the helplessness that happened. It's one of those books that once you finish reading it, you just feel like it is such a huge injustice that happened to, the victim. This is exactly why this is one of the books that made my eyes glistening toward the end, because I was so pissed off at what happened to this character, and I love when mysteries do that to me. I'm following extremely close to Body of Evidence. There's Shady Rob, Promises and Death. This is probably one of my top favorite Shady Rob books. This one had me pissed off too at the end. So I'm just going to read this, get you guys, to jump you guys off why it's pissed me off. So Amaryllis Coltraine may have recently transferred to the New York City police force from Atlanta, but she's been a cop long enough to know how to defend herself against an assailant. When she's taken down just steps away from her apartment, killed with her own weapon, for Eve, the victim isn't just one of us. Dallas's chief medical examiner, Morris, has shared a serious relationship with Coltraine, and from all accounts, the two were headed for a happy future together. I'm gonna leave it there, but I think this is book number, I don't know. I don't even feel like trying to give you those numbers, because you know it's deep within the series. But basically, Morris is a recurring figure, recurring character within this series. He is the medical examiner. He is the guy that Eve sends the bodies to once the initial investigation gets started. But he has a relationship, or was forming a relationship, or revisiting a relationship with the character, the victim within this book. And they were on their way, well, she was on her way going onto a date with him, and she came out of her apartment, and as I said, the killer killed her right there. Oh my god, this book really, but now with that said, I freaking love this book because of the emotional pull that it took out of me toward the end, because the injustice of it all was just so raging within me. I was so mad at what happened to this lady, like right outside of her door, while she was just on her way on a date. Of course, there's so much context behind the reason why she became a victim, but if you do not read any in-depth book, then Promises and Death is the one to read. Now, the next book that pulled an emotional tug out of me by the book's end was actually O is for Outlaw by Sue Grafton, book number something in the Kissing Me Home series. Child, what is O in the alphabet? You can feel it in there. I'm not a mathematician. But the point is that this book pulled an emotional draw out of me by the end because of the same thing, sheer injustice. I mean, it's not like that in a mystery series. There's always gonna be, the murders are justified, but I'm just being honest. Like on an emotional level, some books hit you harder than others, right? That's just kind of the truth of it all. But this one had to do with Kenzie's past before she became a private investigator. She was married twice. I think it was her second husband was the one that turned out to be gay and left her, which happened in E is for Evidence. So check that out. And then her first husband, I want to say, which is, if I'm inverted, then that's my bad. But her first husband happened to be a cop alongside her, and he was killed eventually. And there's a lot of little intricate and backstabbing in the police force that had to do with his murder, and it is all resolved within O is for Outlaw. But once again, because Kenzie had to go down to these emotional depths of reliving her life with this guy who, they once was married, how she had to go and uncover his past, and then entangle with his past, as well as, all the different personalities that was in his life, and who one beneath them all was the cause of his death. By the end of this book, I was not only emotionally drained, but I was just like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, ugh, really, this is how this is going to end for this guy. So, O is for Outlaw. Another book, it's actually a series, this next one, and I'm not going to pull them up because there is actually right here. And this is the Shakespeare series written by Charlaine Harris. Let me just tell you this right now. I know Sookie Stackhouse series is the thing by Charlaine Harris. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But her best, to me, her absolute best work is the Lily Barr series. Hands down, her best work is the Lily Barr series, and I say that with true, fierce conviction. But the point is that there's only 5 books. But the first book is Shakespeare's Landlord, Shakespeare's Champion, Shakespeare's Christmas, Shakespeare's Trollop, and Shakespeare's Counselor. She moves into this town called Shakespeare. Now, Lily Barr is a rape survivor, much like Charlaine herself. So she went to a lot of dark depths within this series. But, at the very beginning of the series with Shakespeare's Landlord, Lily Barr is a character who is very withdrawn, very isolated, very quiet. She moved away from her hometown, away from her family, because no one, I want to say, did not believe or sort of support her after the fact that she was raped. And like I said, she develops this very isolated and withdrawn character, and she sort of expresses that isolation by becoming a house cleaner. So she goes to different characters' houses and clean their houses. That way she can work alone. She don't have to be bothered, and she can just go about her business. But, this is a fantastic series. I am so serious. Y'all need to read this. I don't even know, like, the Sookie Stackhouse series is good, but, hey, child, I'm just trying to let y'all know. But, to keep myself calm, the point that I want to make about this series and why it was such an emotional pull for me after 5 books is that Charlaine Harris really turned the character of Lily around. Like, it was so dark in the very beginning, so hopeless, although you loved her, Lily, and she was witty, and she was just a complex and very dynamic character. But Charlaine Harris flipped it all around by the end of the book, which was Shakespeare's Counselor. So that is, I've been wanting to talk about this series for a long time, but if you ever get the chance to read that series, you need to do yourself a favor and read it. But, in Shakespeare's Champion, she does go back to her hometown and confront her family and everything. So, after getting to 5 books in this series, I was just like, damn, I want some more. And at the same time, I was so happy that Charlaine closed out this character storyline so peacefully and so eloquently, despite her very harsh and troubled and violent past. So the next book on the list of books that pulled an emotional draw out of me is actually Valerie Wilson. The next book that pulled an emotional drawl out of me was Valerie Wilson Wesley's, I don't know how I keep getting tongue-tied with that, but Valerie Wilson Wesley's When Death Comes Stealing, which is the first book in her Tamara Hale mystery private investigator series. This is the character who I always considers the black Kinsey Milholm, but check out the cover. Lovely stuff. So the situation here is that Tamara Hale's ex-husband, who was a Rolling Stone, fathered a number of different children, including one with Tamara before, they split up. The problem now is that many of his children are being murdered. So Tamara, of course, as a private investigator, she has to not only protect her son from this violent stream of deaths that are really pretty much heading her way, but she also has to use her investigative skill, her investigative prowess, to find out exactly who is committing these murders. And why this pulled an emotion out of me is because of the actual perpetrator, the actual murderer. Their reasoning was, though severely unjustified for what they did, committing these murders, but their reasoning was one, I want to word this right, it was one of complete and utter blind revenge. But that revenge was steeped in neglect. I'm going to leave it there. So, I'm done. I'm freaking done. But yes, after the end of this book, when Tamara confronted said suspect, I was like, what? It was just like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, somebody should have helped this character very early on within their life, so they wouldn't have become this person that they became. Love this book, oh my god. The next book that pulled an emotional drawl out of me was actually Blind Descent by Nevada, which is book number 6 in her Anna Pigeon series. Y'all know I go hard for Miss Pigeon. And let me tell you something. It's been 2 years since the last book, and she releases bi-yearly. So we are due for one this year, this May, and it better be good. But anyway, as book number 6, let me read some of the stuff here to kind of dress it up for you. So, Lechugulia Cavern, and that, from what I'm understanding, after reading this book some years ago, I was like, well, Lechugulia, look it up, and it ended up being Spanish for lettuce. But anyway, Lechugulia Cavern is a man-eating cave discovered in New Mexico's Carlsbad Caverns National Park in the mid-1980s, which is actually a real place. Basically, as it says, one of Anna's friends, a fellow park ranger, is on a caving expedition with another group of people. An accident occurs revolving around this particular friend of Anna's, so naturally a rescue team is necessary to get her out, but the friend will not leave until Anna is confirmed as a part of the rescue team. She wants Anna to come into the cave system to get her out, because she understands that her supposed accident was not that much of an accident. Like, there was someone within this expedition that committed such crimes against her body. This one pulled an emotional draw to me because I want to say that it's the stakes involved. Anna Pigeon as a character, she is not one to attach herself to people. She's not one to she's not one to bolster around with friendships and things of that nature. She's a very detached character. She's always about her business. So the fact that she pulled herself together to go into this cave system to try to rescue her friends is already, honey, that's like a plot twist. That's like a character twist like no other. But unfortunately, and I can't give it away, but damn. But the point is that this is a book that really pulled a lot out of Anna, both physically and emotionally. And her bravado as a character really shined in Blind Descent. And toward the end of the book, when she finally exact revenge for what happened to her friend, it was so rewarding that it just burned my eyes to see that justice was served. I'm trying not to tell the book away. But anyway, that is it, guys. Those are some of the mystery books that has pulled a tear from my eye. Well, burned it a little bit. I won't say I was boo-hooing, but honey, they were emotional reads for me, and I enjoyed them for that, and that made them highly memorable. So if you have any books that you've read in the mystery genre that has pulled a tear or put a burning within your eyes, a glistening in your eyes, then please share them down below. I would love to hear from you guys, and continue to love yourself and read all the books that you want to read, girl, because this is about you.